Welcome to Glazed Over, a podcast for contemporary ceramic studios. We're your host, Jessica Cowan.
And Amy Williams. You're invited to join us in creative conversation about life in the arts as entertainment space.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Amy.
How the heck are you?
I am so fantastic. It's a Monday morning, and tomorrow is opening day for baseball here in Chattanooga. We're closing the store early. The whole staff and all our families are going. I'm really excited about that. What about you?
That's so cute. What's the name of Chattanooga's team?
The Lookouts.
The Lookouts because of the mountain.
You know, like Lookout Mountain. Yeah.
Of course.
Our mascot is eyeballs on a baseball cap.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Wow. I think I need some merch from that.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, I got nothing going on here. You said it's Monday morning, and I thought, oh my God, is it? So that's what we're dealing with today. I will say my head is spinning with all of these good ideas because we just got to talk to Bill Shipley from Constant Contact.
Yes, we did. And it was a thrill to talk to him this early in the morning on a weekday because I feel like I've got some momentum actually now to do some marketing work this week, whereas before it's something I like to push off. But Bill talked to us all about beyond email, and we'll all find out about how I'm actually the worst at sending emails. I'm good at a lot of things, but the emails are not one of them. But it was way more than just what the emails can do for you today.
Yeah, it turns out Constant Contact has rolled out a lot of things within the platform for like AI and ads and like managing social and events and things. And he really just sold it. So I don't know. I think you'll also, the listener, leave this episode feeling inspired to go beyond just email. But if you also need a refresher on email, because I know Jess is not the only one that's not the best at sending emails. I think many of us are guilty of that. Bill did an episode with us last season all about like best practices for sending emails. And I think those two episodes together, enjoy this episode. And we can't wait to read all of your beautiful emails and see how you're using AI and get them also posted to social.
Yeah, and if we need to start a support club for emails, we can have an accountability club for it, and I will be the president.
There you go. I will be vice president.
Okay, love it. Perfect. All right, let's do it.
All right, y'all. Enjoy.
Hi, CCSA members. Des Toll from Biscuit Imports here to welcome you to this month's informative podcast. Sit back or get ready to multitask, pop in those headphones, and enjoy the show.
Feel like a juggler at your ceramic studio? Between classes, bookings, and admin tasks, those pins keep flying. Let Occasion help you put down the act and get back to creating. Visit occasion.act to discover your peace of mind.
Want more customers to find your fired art studio? As a CCSA member, you'll get a prime spot on our CCSA Studio Locator, a tool designed to help customers discover you. Your studio's contact info and online links will be featured on our website, reaching a lot of potential customers looking for creative experiences just like yours. Whether it's parents planning a pottery party or someone looking for a fun day out, the CCSA Studio Locator helps them find their way to your door. It's a simple but powerful way to boost your visibility and grow your business. Join CCSA today and make sure your studio is on the map. Visit ccsaonline.com for more details.
Have you written any more books, Bill?
No, but I have worked on the audiobook for Maya, which was a journey because I didn't want to hire any like actual actors or anything like that because it's really expensive. So I used AI in its entirety.
Wow.
So AI reads it. Well, and it's fitting because it's a book about AI. So AI reads it. There's sound effects. Like, yeah, we'll see.
That's awesome.
It's in a world of its own. So we'll see how it ends up.
Yeah. When can we listen to that?
I'll send you some information soon. So it's completed. It's in kind of beta right now. So when I say beta, my wife's listening. And once she gives me the thumbs up, then I'll start putting it out. I believe I'm going to launch with like 50 free copies. So I'll keep you posted.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But it's probably within the next week or two.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually have to put in, sorry for cutting you off, some automations, which is a good transition into what we're
what you're
talking about here.
Professional. You're about to be the third co-host if you're not careful.
Threaten me with a good time.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, well, Bill, tell us what we've got you on to talk about today.
Yeah, so as before, I'm with Constant Contact. My role over here is a key account manager, and what that essentially means is there are some partnerships like CCSA that are really, really important to us, and we have a dedicated person that just helps with trying to grow and create awareness and make sure that everybody under that umbrella is, getting treated the way they should. So today, what I was hoping is, as you kind of already mentioned last time, we were focusing a lot on email and we talked about segmentation, subject lines, like all the do's and don'ts. But what we kind of got into but didn't dive into is the fact that there's much more to Constant Contact than just emailing. So I thought it'd be a really good idea to talk about what else it does, especially because it's all relevant to somebody who is really, really busy trying to run their business, but knows that they need to do a better job or be more efficient in their marketing. And all of those tools are readily available within our platform already. If you don't have our system already, you could pick it up and check off a lot of boxes just with one subscription.
Yeah. Wow. So where should we start? Should we start with automations?
I love that because it talks a little bit of email and then we can kind of transition out. So yes, automations is a perfect place to start.
All right.
Um,
Talk to us like that we're dumb. What is an automation?
No, thank you.
Yeah,
That
let's
makes it easy.
pretend that we're dumb.
And
Yes,
I'm 5,
right.
brand new to this.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk to it like let's speak to children basically. So,
Yeah.
an automation in its kind of easiest form is a automatic or a action that's triggered based off of some sort of other action. That didn't help a 5-year-old. What I mean by that is somebody clicks or does some action and something else automatically is done on the back end for you.
Hmm.
And the easiest example is either fills out a form or a birthday. Now, we can do very, very complicated automations within our platform. We won't spend a lot of time today because we don't want to confuse anybody. But the most common ones are that within your shop or your organization, you have a form. You could be at an event. You have a form or QR code that brings up just a couple questions for a client to fill out. And what our system would do is after that QR code is scanned and those questions were answered, it and that person hits enter, our system will receive the information and then send out a pre-built email.
Mm, love
And
that.
within that email, it'll say something like their first name. It'll say, thank you for registering. Thank you for signing up. Thank you for wanting to keep in touch. Whatever that email looks like, it's of course customizable, fully customizable for the person. But it is the first step in allowing our system to do some work for you.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I have used this before. When someone purchases a subscription service on my website, they get added into the segment that is for that subscription service. And it is so handy because before that was having to plug people into a segment on my email list after they bought it. And it was sometimes you're not on top of it and it can be really frustrating. But I definitely need to be utilizing this a lot more. You give a good example of like a form or a QR code. Are there other examples you have where this would benefit Paint Your Own Pottery Studios?
Yeah, for sure. So the other simple automation that are both included in our standard plan, which is kind of our middle tier, it's our most popular within your organization, is the birthday email.
Mm.
And that can be used in a bunch of different ways. The most traditional is you collect birthday data, and then every year an email that is pre-built. And again, you put in like a customized field about their name and everything else, and you can invite them with a promotion to come back in for their birthday, 10% off, something to that effect. Or you do something like a planning a child's birthday, you could say invite them back in for some sort of party or something. But basically, you put a date in or they fill out a form and implement their own birthday, and that information is saved. And then annually, whenever our system is triggered by that automation, we will send that email out on your behalf to them so they're receiving it, whether it be a week before or on their birthday.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Wow.
if some organizations, sorry for cutting you off,
Oh,
don't
please.
want to collect birthday data, then a really cool way to utilize this is to use it in such a way that it's like your sign up date. So it's been a year since you were here. So it can be
Mhm.
your anniversary date of being involved in the organization as well.
Yeah. That's fun. And that adds that little extra customization that I know myself as a customer, I'm looking for that in the small businesses that I interact with. Within Constant Contact, can you just have a million automations? Like, does it cut you off at a certain point? When is too many?
No, so it won't cut you off. And you can build in these. Now, in the standard plan, you're going to get access to some of these simpler ones. And it's very, very easy to use. So you don't need a marketing degree or anything to use this platform and put this in place. It's very easy. We walk you through it. Our support will walk you through it if you want another human there.
Mhm.
But it's very easy to use and implement. Now, as you get really comfortable with them, you can get into on our premium plans a full custom automation. And what something like that might look like is you sent out one email, and then based off of whether somebody opened it or did not open it, you would
Mhm.
then send out a different email. So this can turn into drip campaigns, they also call it,
Mhm.
whereas you have a series of emails going out or a series of actions, and based off of reactions from the client, you want something else to happen. And then, fun fact, we can also implement SMS, sending a text within that advanced
Oh.
automation. Yeah,
That would be
Wow.
very exciting for many studio owners.
yeah,
A lot of
Yeah.
us want to be able to talk to our customers that way. I really like the part where it auto-populates your name. Are there other things that you can have it auto-populate whenever you're collecting the information?
absolutely. And we want to keep it simple for the fact that we understand there's not professional like marketers likely that are listening. Most people are busy running their business. So we make it really easy to do something like a name or something like that. But we can put dynamic variables. Don't get scared, everyone. That's a fancy, right? We can put
That sounds like
dynamic
a math
variable.
term.
I know it feels like it too when you say it. So you can put variables throughout. So you could say, if you had a field that collected some sort of data, say somebody answered their question that was on a form that was like, what's their favorite thing to paint? And you wanted to collect that data, and some people said pottery, some people said plates, some people said mugs, whatever that is, you could put that custom field in there somewhere based off of that spreadsheet of data that you collected. So maybe a poor example, maybe could be used, but yes, we can put dynamic variables almost anywhere, which basically means that we're going to pull data from somewhere and implement it into that email to feel more customized.
Yeah. Wow. Where does a welcome sequence fall in this? Is that considered an automation?
That's correct. And it's very, very simple to use. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of one or two emails based off of an action, and
Mhm.
that can be sent out, yeah, very, very easily.
Yeah, I really like those. I wish our industry would utilize those a little bit more. I think it, like, it warms
Mhm.
people up a little bit. I think you can go overboard with the welcome sequence. Like sometimes you get 7 emails and you're like, what did I sign up
For sure.
for? But
I think,
just that one. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, am I frozen?
no, I was just going to say,
Oh,
so
no.
like based, yeah,
You're
no,
not
you're
anymore.
not frozen,
Okay.
a little bit jumbled there for a minute, but yeah,
Okay.
as the world we live in.
Well, that's me.
No, but so to your point though, one of the best parts about that is that you can have them fill out a form, and again, it can be triggered by a QR code, or even if you're filling out the form, asking them the questions. So you can have this in front of you. What's your first name, last name? You're typing this, and you have this form that's built in our system that will trigger this automation. Put that information in, and then not only are we going to collect it all, send that email to them automatically, but then you can also, and I think you may have mentioned this, add a tag or like another customized field that says, because you filled out the form this way, they are an in-store client or whatever that might be, and categorize these people that fill out this form or scan that QR code so that you know who they are in the future and how to market to them.
Yeah. That's something that I wish that I had been better about when I was starting to build my email list. Now it's a little bit chaos, but those categories are so helpful because when you're doing, an in-store event, you want people to come in, or say you have multiple studios, it's really nice to have that segmented list. Um, Jess, what email, not what email platform, but like what's your email practice? Are you sending a lot of emails?
No, I'm not a huge email sender. We talk all the time about getting back into that. We used to be bigger on it, but then like just the numbers around how many people actually open it and the real return on it versus having a person do the labor to put together the email is definitely part of it. But I know there are lots of tools for coming up with a template and then replicating that and kind of adding things in. So I'm very interested to see how the automations can help populate the emails so that there's less of that work to do so it actually goes out. What I am thinking about while we're talking about all this is so I have a person whose job is to call the customers and ask them a bunch of questions and come up with that information in an Excel sheet, which I then later, do the like, oh, let me sort it into this and that. So it does seem like I could use this system to answer those questions within it, and then it'll go ahead and give me those segments that I need instead of me having to go through. And so clearly I'm being redundant myself. I'm figuring that out right now. I'm like, clearly I could be a little bit more efficient in this. And I love efficiency. So very exciting to me to see like what more we can do here. So yeah, can we talk about populating the email?
Yeah,
um,
for sure, for sure. So you brought up an amazing point and you can use automations for this. So it doesn't have to be the customer filling out this form that you can pre-build in your platform. The form can be filled out within our platform from an associate, and then that data can be saved. Tags can be made on that person, so location, time of day, whatever that has to be, and it's all customizable for you. And then after that form is filled out by the associate, an automated email can go out that would welcome them to subscribe for more newsletters or let them know that they'll be receiving emails quarterly. That's a really good best practice, is to set expectations within that welcome email as to how much they will receive, so that they can kind of determine on their own whether they want to be involved in that or what level they want to be. So that really, really helps. The second point that you brought up is, at what point is it worth it to employ somebody to be doing all of this and putting the emails together and then to those numbers? Now, we talked a little bit last time that a successful email campaign would get about a 30 to 35% open rate, which should translate to about a 1 to 3% click-through rate, which is really important because you want them to interact with the actual emails. But to answer that question of is it worth it having somebody put so much time, using AI, which would be a nice segue into our next topic, we can put some of that time back in your day. So we shouldn't be taking a ton of time because we do have templates and things that can do all of this for you in a fraction of the time to get those emails out.
Yeah,
Exciting.
let's talk about AI. How
Mhm.
can we better use it? I think AI is new into our industry. At a lot of our industry events recently, people have been talking more about Chat GPT and Gemini, which is Google's AI service. And I just don't think we as an industry know everything that it can do for us. So in this email space, what can AI do?
Sure. So it is really scary, right? And especially for somebody who doesn't have the time to keep up with it all, it just sounds like this crazy party that's happening that we're not part of. And like, how do we get an invitation? And it sounds really complicated, but it's really not, and it makes things much easier. So to talk about it from a constant contact perspective, we've built our platform to be super easy anyway. But then in addition to that, we've added a layer of AI that will pop up throughout the email creation process. So the way this should look is you have an email template and you're looking to save time because it looks a certain way. It has your colors, has your boxes already pre-built. Now I want to say something, but I don't have this time to sit back and really try and plan and figure out how to come up with that thing to say that would be interesting. And then I have to edit it. And then I have to think about, is it worded correctly or is it brand appropriate, and all of these things. So there's a box that will pop up that will gather your thoughts. I'm looking to say X, Y, Z. I'm looking just to say, I need to invite kids events. I need to invite people in for the spring promotion, and I need to include these new products that we have. And if you just give it a couple bullet points or whatever is going on in your mind, just spit it on the paper, then our AI platform is going to organize that, and it's going to give you back some options in how you can word it. So rather than saying I get to create something from scratch, it's going to say I have A, B, and C here. Which way would you like it to be worded? And you can select from that. And then in addition to that, you get to have a drop down that says, I want this to sound enthusiastic. I
Mhm.
want this to sound
Mm.
professional. I want this to sound approachable. And it just will start to mold it to your voice as you're going.
I think that's
Does
so
it,
great.
sorry, Amy, does it collect that information over time? So the more that you use it, does it kind of already know in the future intuitively that you want yours to be enthusiastic, or do you have to kind of tell it that every time?
So our plan on our system just has a drop down, and the reason we
Hmm.
opted to not like memorize that is because sometimes you want an enthusiastic email, sometimes you want a more professional notification. So it's basically on one screen, you have a little box that you enter in all of your thoughts and what you're trying to accomplish with this email, and then just a drop down of tone and essentially what you're looking for. The additional drop down also can say, I want just the text. So just let me copy and paste what I want to say in this email. But then there's another one that will actually say, I'm going to build the framework of the email for you. So it actually will
Hmm.
construct the email as well. When it constructs the email, it will save some of your branding information. So if you
Mm.
have logos,
Okay.
colors, things of that nature, it will remember those things.
Well,
I
and those
like,
are the important things. So, and
yeah.
I like this a lot because there is a value in being able to change the tone. And sometimes I feel like when I'm using ChatGPT, it almost becomes an echo chamber of myself, which is great,
Yeah,
until I want a different sort of idea or a different sort of lens to view things through. So that's good that it's not learning you, like some of the other modules are. I like that.
right.
Yeah, I think also sometimes we don't know how we want to say it until we see it. I'm very
Hmm.
visual in that way. So I love having the three options like played out in front of you where you get to sort of try it on and be like, yeah, no, that I thought I wanted to be professional, but I guess I think it sounds better or feels better for it to be enthusiastic. And Jess, you're right. Like sometimes my chat GPT gets too like you go girl and I get kind
Right.
of mad where I'm like, I need you to tighten up. I
Right.
just
Get it together.
I just named my chat GPT, or I asked if he had a name. I don't know why I think it's a he. And based on all of the things I've been doing in there, GPT was like, You can call me whatever you want. For instance, Cleonce sounds pretty fun. I'm your creative best pal." But in my own, like in my work, I just call him Chad because it's so close to chat. And I was like, okay, cool, but how's Chad? And the delay in response from Chat GPT felt like I really hurt its feelings because it wanted to be Cleonce and I wanted it to be Chad. But anyway, now
That's
now
funny.
he seems to be okay with it. But yes, yes, all of that to say. Um, so what else can we do with AI? Is it more than just the writing and the templates? Are there any kind of like graphic creations that we can do with AI in Constant
Can
Contact?
we link our classes over from our website?
So, so a couple things. I wanted to talk about the AI in a couple ways. In the first way, and I think we checked this off, is how
Hmm.
does it work in constant contacts world?
Yes.
And that really is somebody that's like, I don't want to download anything. I don't want to have a
Yeah,
ChatGPT
one more
account.
thing. Yep.
Yep, exactly. Like it's another thing, right? So I wanted to make sure that we talked about it today from somebody going in to being like, I'm not gonna go outside of this platform that I have and try and do something else. However, to your point, with ChatGPT being so accessible, inexpensive, free in most cases, unless you're looking for some fancy features, being able to utilize it and start to remember and start to um, use things like image creation with it, where it's actually doing all of that is a really valuable tool, and most people will use them side by side with ours.
Mm.
So, one of the best practices that I've seen with AI outside of our tool is actually signing up for an Chat GPT account. And if you end up opening an email, and we all get them, that we are really, really impressed by, and we're like, wow, this is amazing. Like it got my attention. It held my attention throughout the email. It got me to want to learn more. It made me want to click. If you get that type of response out of an email, one of my recommendations is to copy and paste that email into ChatGPT and basically tell it, just say, I want to study the composition of this email and
Oh,
recreate
wow.
something with my own brand. It'll take everything, the spacing, the tone. You're not copying, you're not
Right.
stealing. This is basically telling your chat GPT, Chad, to study this email and learn its composition. And then in your next email, you have certain information in brand voice and everything else. You tell Chad to then create this email, but use that framework.
Wow, I'm a person that like, understands the internet and understands computers and understands AI, I think, but I'm just scratching the surface of what you could do. I've never considered to do that before. And I just want to clarify, when you say copy and paste, are you copy and pasting the body or are you putting in like the URL, which you can sometimes do with emails?
Either will work, I believe. So
Okay, okay.
ChatGPT, and obviously I don't work for them, but I believe that will work. But the way that I would use it regularly is an email comes through that I just am like blown away by, and I'm like, wow, this caught my attention and kept me throughout. So I would copy and paste it and be like, study this for later, keep this for later.
Wow, that just opened a lot of things up for me.
Mhm. I'm gonna put your email into it, Amy. Like the y'all's
Yeah.
bet.
Oh, please do. Yeah, I send a crazy like monthly wrap up email that looks like a newspaper. And it's actually really not optimized for best practices because a lot of it is photos. But anyway, you're gonna turn the other way and not be mad at me about that. Um, wow. So with image creation too, and I know you don't work for ChatGPT, but maybe you can
Hmm.
help us get there. Um,
For sure.
when we do want to generate an image, what are the words that we type in to make it so clear? So, because sometimes we're getting five thumbs on one hand, and
Hmm.
it's not always being the best. Like, how can we use the image tool the most efficiently?
Sure. So I have a couple ways to approach the question. And one is that know that we also have a library of images within our platform that are accessible. So if there are folks listening in there that's just like, look, I'm not going down the chat GPT. I'm not trying to create my own images. I'm not trying to go that route. Like know that we do have a backbone of images that are readily available. We have others that are ones that you can purchase. So if there are something very specific or that you're looking for that was professionally done by somebody else. Usually it's something like $1 or two, and that'll give you a bulk of photos. So those are available within the platform. There are also other websites. Unsplash is one of my favorite because it is loaded with a bunch of images that were taken by fantastic photographers, and they're generated and available for free use, and you can download them if you'd like. Usually, all they ask for is just a thank you on social, which you can opt
Wow.
to do or not.
Well, and I have to say, Canva, most of us are Canva Pro members. They have a really good photo bank as well. If you
Hmm.
can't find it in Constant Contact or Unsplash, Unsplash,
Unsplash, I believe.
Unsplash, you
Yes.
can likely find it in Canva.
Yes, but to answer your question, so I utilize ChatGPT for all of my own marketing for my book. So I use it regularly because, as you can imagine, I have to create images that most people haven't even taken photos, or
Right.
there's this stuff doesn't exist. So I think getting it to be as specific as possible. And what's funny is I'll use ChatGPT to generate the prompt for the image. So
Hmm.
I'll tell ChatGPT. So I say, "Hey, Chat, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a picture of XYZ, and it's a person painting, blah, blah, blah. It's using, can I get a prompt that will create an image that will be
Hmm.
appropriate for this?" And then ChatGPT will give a prompt that will basically say, this is what you can put into any AI chat engine, and it will spit back the image that you're looking for. And then I would just say, well, since you're there, Chad, why don't you just create that image? And then it will end up getting me pretty close to what I want. Sometimes I have to rework it and tell it to redo the picture or whatever that is and go from there.
Are you spending hours managing studio bookings and class registrations? Occasion helps ceramic studios save an average of 3 days a week in admin time. With clever workflows, instant confirmations, and seamless class management, you can focus on what matters, creating amazing experiences for your customers. Join successful studios like Clay Cafe Avalon, who've trusted Occasion since 2016. Visit occasion.app and schedule a demo today. Mention Glazed Over Podcast for personalized setup support.
Enjoying the show? I hope so. We're big supporters of professional growth over here at Bisca Imports, so we're happy to see y'all soaking up the classes, podcasts, and more to stay on top of your game. Bisca Imports is committed to supporting our customers by offering quality products, competitive prices, and plentiful resources. Check out the resources tab on biscuitimports.com to view programs, projects, and educational resources that are at your fingertips.
Do you have to disclose that something's AI, or ethically should we be doing that? Like, what do you, and it's probably a personal question, but what do you think about that?
So within an email, I'm sending a photo of somebody painting pottery. That is not something that you have to disclose is AI. The only, I would guess, disclaimer there is I would just double check the image. Sometimes there's, six fingers holding the paintbrush or something. And I mean, maybe that exists in life, but it's not the picture you generated. So just be cognizant of that piece of it. But um, for email purposes, absolutely not. For pictures that you're going to use on your social, transitioning here a little bit into our whole platform of
God, you're
social,
you're
Love it.
such a
you know,
professional.
Yeah.
try and make your job easy. Um,
Hmm.
if you're using social media and it's just an image, there's no best practice, even disclaimer out there that says you have to say that at this point in time. It's only when you're creating a video that it'll actually ask, was this generated with AI at that point? So
Yeah,
for all
I
your
have seen
listeners
that.
mostly, yeah, I don't think you're gonna run into it.
Yeah, I've noticed that on Instagram where you can toggle like this was made with AI, and I think it puts up just like a little banner on top of the post on Instagram. But yeah, you're right. I think it's just been kind of in the video space.
Mhm. And that's more for like, gosh, I remember seeing a viral video of like a giraffe being saved recently. And it was like the giraffe, they had like a crane and everything else. It was completely fake and AI made it. And it's just really hard now to decipher a lot of that. So I think that it's important if you're posting videos that were made with AI because people take it for fact and truth. But from a photo perspective and what your listeners are going to use it for, no need to worry about disclaiming that.
Yeah, that's fair. So let's talk about social. Let's dig into what Constant Contact can do with social.
Sure. So it's fantastic to have everything in one place, as we know. And that's what we really realized when we started ramping this up several years ago, and we've kept up with about 90% of the features that are available.
Oh.
So for social in general, we know that it's important to cover all bases. So you want to be emailing, you want to be texting, you want to place calls where appropriate, and we should be on social media. Everybody kind of like knows they should be, but it's hard to keep up with how much you should be on social. So we've tried to make that super, super easy. So the way Constant Contact looked at this was, okay, we have in an email that you've taken some time using templates, you've put in your photos, you had AI, maybe generate one off, and then you kind of brought it in and uploaded, but then you had our AI do the verbiage for you. Now what? We have, it's quite literally one button that after you create an email, we can basically take that email and convert it over to a social post. So we are on.
And suddenly I'm more interested in doing emails.
There we go.
Like,
Exactly.
just like that.
So we figured that's where most of our people would be. So we're available on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We're not on X or Twitter or whatever he says that it's going to be next. So we've stuck to the big three that we'll call it.
Mhm.
So you did an email, and that's where we know most of our people will be. We wanted them to have a really easy process. So it'll take the image from the email. If not, it'll take if there's several throughout, it'll take one of them, and it will craft a couple different drafted social posts for you that you can then send out immediately. What's I think even better is you can take a step back. Okay, you've put this through, you can schedule it to go out at a different time. So now it's like I'm doing this at Tuesday before open, so it's 7 a.m. when I'm getting all this done. That's not a great time to post anything on social. So I'm going to schedule that for perhaps after the email is sent out or later that evening when people are likely on Facebook or Instagram. And we've taken it one step further to be able to create from scratch as well. So before I get into that, though, do you have any questions or comments about converting the email over?
My
I have a
comment.
question about the scheduling.
Yeah.
How far in advance can you do that?
Mm,
So I've never gone several months out. I know you
Hmm.
can go the month ahead. So 45, 60 days is I've never tried to
Yeah.
go further out, but I know that's available.
Yeah,
Well,
there
I
is
asked because
a on Facebook you can only do so much, right?
right, exactly. So if you can do more than 30 days, that could be a game changer for people that, like that's always been an issue for me with social media is like I can sit down and get it all scheduled for the next 3 months, except it won't let me schedule more than 30 days
Yeah.
at a time. So that could be definitely exciting too if you could get a little more ahead of things like that. I like it. What was your
That's
comment,
Yeah.
something.
Amy?
Yeah. What was
Well,
yours, Amy?
as a person that, helps people with social media strategy, I have been preaching for a million years to repurpose content. And I think that's just two words when put together. People are like, yeah, I know what that means. But this is a great example of that, right? Like you've done all this work building your email, you've got important information in, and now you're taking that and turning it into a visual social post. And you make it so easy to repurpose this content. So I'm hoping everyone is paying attention to that part because it could really take a load off of your to-do list, if you can knock out two things in one go. Big
Oh, for
fan.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And I will obviously have to just double check to see how, far in advance we can schedule, but I know it's probably at least 45 to 60 days, which can help a small business owner in itself.
Yeah,
Creating
immensely.
from scratch is really good. So being able to go in and actually create the post within our platform, we have a really easy builder. But most of the time, it's only bringing in a photo or two, perhaps a video. Videos are now in our most recent update included in that too. So you couldn't post a future dated video as of like a month and a half ago, but you now can on our platform. So having those tools available in one place and being able to schedule that out is fantastic. My favorite part is that now, rather than having I log into Meta or wherever I'm managing my social media, and then I'm logging into this other place, and then perhaps you have your own point of sale system, your contact list is now divided up between several different platforms. Whereas now, if you do everything within ours, you're going to be able to see all of your contacts in one place and all of that engagement of likes and comments and
Hmm.
everything that's being measured is going to be measured in the same place as the reporting of your emails. So you're going to start to see all of your marketing efforts really graded in one place rather than over several different platforms.
Yeah, I think it's really easy to ignore that, to not really pay attention to how a post is performing or what our growth is. And I love the idea that it's in one spot where you can kind of see it all
Hmm.
together. I think it would make it second nature for us to be paying attention to stuff like that because it is important. And that I think also feels scary to look and see how things are doing, but having it in one spot, I don't know. I'm really liking the sound of that.
Yeah,
For
it sounds
sure.
like a full service suite, so that's gonna make somebody's life, mine, much easier.
Yeah, the goal
And
here is just to get Jess sending more emails by the end of this episode.
Basically.
it will happen. It will happen. But yes, you bring up the point that it's like several different solutions put into one, and we really tried to hone in on that and make sure that we kept up with all the capabilities. The only one that is missing, and I like to just full disclosure here, is that you can't post to stories yet.
Hmm.
So that's the only piece. And I guess like for me, I try and put myself in the shoes of your listeners, and they're like obviously busy running their business, and they're doing schedules, and they're doing all of this. So I guess likely if a story could be like a spare of the moment thing, I mean they stay up there only for like 24 hours or something anyway. So if you had to do that, you could do that from your phone still. And
Agreed.
then some of those analytics, social visits and things like that, we would still be able to capture. But that is the one missing piece of our platform compared to if you were doing that in other places.
Yeah, in the
Hmm.
grand scheme of things, I completely agree. Like that's the one that you probably shouldn't be overthinking and scheduling, 45 days in advance. Like stories can
Right.
just be, in
Just
the
share whatever post came up today. Like you're fine if you need something that
Exactly.
bad, like
Exactly.
so can you also within the social capabilities, can you sell stuff? Can you book things? Can you sell um merch and tickets and things like that?
So within the social media platform, you're kind of limited to what Facebook and Meta and LinkedIn will allow you to do. Um, what we can do is you can utilize the tools to transfer, so you can do a social post that would then direct folks back to our platform within some sort of form or something to fill out. But what we did put together for, you had said, sell things in merch and tickets and things of that nature, is we have an events tool within our platform that can help keep all of those things organized.
Nice.
So if you were to saying having an event within the next like month, I mean, I've seen parents' night out and, they drop their kids off or something like that that you want to market. We can keep that very, very organized from a marketing perspective within the platform. So go ahead and create the event in social media if you want. But if you have it within our platform, what you're going to be able to do is track RSVP. You're going to be able to send emails all from the events tool so that if you send 5 emails out from this event, they're all going to be in one place. So you're going to be able to see, okay, I sent 5 emails out and here are the response rates, here are the open rates, here are the click rates. And then you're going to be able to keep the RSVP tracking there. So however many people said they're coming, you can have like selected options within. So I joke around. I'm like, wow, I wish I had this for my wedding because you can
Right.
say like chicken, steak, like, are you sure? Like you can, am I bringing one? You can have all of these questions within our events platform that will really allow you to keep everything organized. I'll talk about the purchasing and stuff in a moment, but did you have any questions about that aspect yet?
No, that's huge.
Jessica, you
Yeah.
almost looked like you had a question. So I was
She
like,
did.
yeah, you saw that? I
I'm
was like,
thinking
go
about
ahead.
how I will be utilizing this as well.
I
Yeah.
know, yeah. I think the wheels are spinning up top.
Yeah, that's
Fantastic. Yeah, so
awesome.
the events tool, it's really, really helpful just to have the event standing in front of you, which is a section of our platform, and being able to say, here are all the people that responded, here's the people that are coming, and it's a list of email addresses, which is really important because they're putting that information in and we're collecting that data. But then to take it one step further, if it was a ticketed event, we have the ability to sell tickets and keep track of that within our platform too. So every ticket would be given a individual QR code that they can check in that way if that's how you preferred. But the ability to sell and of course the client to purchase them from you, that transaction can be done within our platform from the so you don't have to necessarily utilize the point of sale system for that to go back and
Wow.
Mhm.
forth.
That's
Interesting.
awesome.
Constant Contact has some big plans, huh?
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for
They're
sure.
trying to, they're taking over, it seems. And
Hmm.
that's,
Yes, absolutely.
I'm okay
And
with
if
that.
that included
Um,
merch too, if you had t-shirts, something like that, you can also sell those products within the platform as well.
yeah. I'm thinking that CCSA should utilize the Constant Contact to book guests on the podcast and then offer the link to buy the
Mm.
t-shirt or the sweatshirt.
Everybody wants one of these. They're
Ex-
exclusive t-shirts. So
Exactly. So
For
I like the
sure,
idea
for
of that.
sure.
Wow. Okay. What else? What's next? You got us so inspired. So take us to the next topic.
Yeah, so the one thing that I want to cover at the end is ads, but I also do think that we like glazed over it maybe a little bit too quickly is the SMS.
Yes,
Um,
please.
Mm.
we're really, really focusing on that going into Q2, and so much so that we've actually included a segment of our business that would allow you to bring in contacts that don't even have emails. So the way it stood prior is you would have to have somebody that gave you an email address and a phone number to have them in our platform. But then you might say, well, I have these other 250 names and phone numbers. I don't have their email, but I want to be able to market to them. So we've had texting for several years now, but we've really focused on how to master this product and be able to incorporate it. So we can send text messages through our platform and give you full analytics to who's opened it, who's seen it, who's clicked on it. The only limitation to it is that it doesn't allow you to do like images and GIFs and videos. We really don't want to harass people. We're
Yes,
really
right.
trying to make this a value add and something that can just be more of a convenience for your clients. But being able to send the text message from our platform, they can reply, you would be able to interact with them within our platform is really what we're focused on next.
Okay, so now I have to ask how much is that and which plan is that on?
Sure. So it can be added onto any plan. To get a
Wow.
little bit more granular, is the we talked about the discount that we have for CCSA members before. We didn't get into exactly what it was in black and white, so I made sure I was
Mhm.
more prepared today with that.
Oh, thank you.
So you sign up, and if you don't want to commit to 6 months or a year, not from a contractual point, but paying forward, then you get 10% off. So you
Mm.
just, if you're just going monthly, you're like, look, I don't want to sign up for anything long term. I don't want to pay in advance for anything. You get 10% off the any of the plans. If you commit to 6 months and you say, okay, this is going to cost $50 a month, I'm going to pay for 6 months at a time, the discount is actually bumped up to 20%. And then if you pay for the year in the same way, you actually get as high as a 25% discount. So if your
Wow.
plan was only supposed to be $55 or $100 a month times 12 less 25%, we're not math majors, but it's a saving.
It's a
Um,
good deal.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So now to talk about texting and how it fits into it, the premium plan, our most advanced with every single thing has 500 text messages built into it. So there's some value there for somebody who might want to do those like advanced automations. So an example, I send email one and then someone didn't open it. So I want them to get email two and they still didn't open it. So now I want to send them a text. And that
Ah.
can be something that just goes like you press go and our system does all of that.
Will the text override them not opening email one, or is it the text to prompt them to open email one?
The text can say whatever you'd like. Usually it would have a hyperlink in it to say
Mm.
like,
Oh, I see.
I was looking for you to fill out this form or to get this type of information. If you click here, it can bring them back to that email or that information that you're trying to get across.
Nice.
Yeah. So
I like that.
to really answer your question, it is tiered. So I have a standard plan today. I'm paying, $50 or $35, depending on how many contacts you have in there. And I want to start sending 500 text messages. Plans start at like $10.
That's really not bad.
And then it tiers up from there depending on how many
Sure.
contacts you have.
Yeah, I mean, just not sending emails aside, this is we just have to be building our email list, and I think
Right.
if you're feeling new to sending emails or nervous about it, I will suggest to go back to listen to our first episode with Bill because he really takes some of the guesswork out of sending emails and explains a lot of things really well. But, we've had days where Instagram has gone down and we've had days where Facebook has gone down, and those are really scary glimpses into what could be the future of not having social media. And a lot of us really depend, especially our industry, really depends on Facebook. So I just highly suggest now, before it's too late, not to fearmonger, really invest time in sending your emails out. The CCSA membership deal is amazing. And then now knowing that you can add text on for as little as, $10 depending, really good, really good.
I want
You
to
bring
clarify about the text. Can you skip over the email part and just send text? So I know a lot of people are looking for a solution to letting customer know their pottery is ready, and most customers would like to be texted about that. Do you think this would be a good fit for that?
Thank you so much for clarifying that. Yeah, because I think the way I described it made it sound like it almost had to be part of the automation. But yes, you can just say, and that is our focus going into this quarter, that you could have a text only package. And that's the same pricing that we've already talked about. So if it's available on your account, you can send just a text message to a client through our platform and have it be, you know, give the reporting, have the organization, be able to use your keyboard to text, which is like really helpful, and or allow an associate of yours rather than actually you having to use your phone to text the client that their pottery is
Hmm.
ready. That can be done within our platform. Absolutely.
I like that. I think
Yeah,
that's, like I said, that's the solution everyone's been looking for a long time. So I think you'll get a lot of signups there.
that's great. We're here. It's already ready. It's built into the platform. And to tie it all together, Amy, I love your point of we've seen like social media go down and we've had this like dependency and all of a sudden it goes away. One of the conversations that we have on a regular basis with the folks that are calling in and signing up is to own your contact list. And
Yes.
we have point of sale systems and we can keep that data there. But I think one of the scariest things is saying like I have the 100 people that I have interacted with in my store in my point of sales. But then I have this other 500 people out in the world that I market to on a regular basis to try and have them come in. But if you're only using social media, and we obviously love it because it's within our platform, you don't really own that information. You don't own your friends
Mhm.
list. You can't really control your followers. But if you have their phone number and their email, that is your own list. You're harboring that information, and it's a fluid list because it's always growing and shrinking, and some people unsubscribe, but it's yours. Like no one can really take it away from you. Like you've acquired that
100%.
over time.
Yeah, and they're warm and they want to hear from you. And
Mhm.
I saw something recently that says email has no algorithm, and it's true. A lot of us want to blame the algorithm for poorly performing content, but you can't really blame anybody when there's an email going directly into someone's inbox. That's the best and fastest way to get them. So, very well
Mhm.
said. Very well
For
said.
sure. A fun fact, I believe the numbers are in the ballpark of you get a 2% conversion rate on social media. So if you have 100 friends, only 2 people are seeing it out of those 100, where you have about a 35 to 15% conversion rate through email. So
That's good numbers. I'm writing those
just,
down
Yeah,
for
the
myself.
numbers don't lie, unfortunately.
yeah,
I'm a numbers girl, so the
Yeah.
numbers say I should do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, the numbers say you should send an email before the day's over to
Yeah.
us.
for sure.
Let's talk
But
about another kind of scary thing or intimidating thing, which are ads. I know
yes,
I feel
Hmm.
very out of my depth when it comes to these. So talk us through Facebook, Instagram, those even Google ads if you feel compelled.
yeah.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, so to completely round out the product, we thought it was a really good thing to add in there. The we've been doing it for years, so it's not something that we've just recently like acquired or thrown in there. It's not in beta. It's established and it's well versed. So you have the ability to post, you have the ability to do all of your social media in our platform, as you know, and you can now take those posts that you create and boost them throughout our platform. So what that means is you're saying I have 100 friends or 100 followers, and I don't want just 2% of them to see my post. I want other people that are within a geographic area or within a certain demographic to be able to see my post. What this will allow you to do is to create a post that you'd put on social media, but then advertise it out. So you could sit there and say as little as $5 to $10. I want this to go out to people within 50-mile radius of my store, or 10 or 15, depending, how saturated the market is. You can say that within this town, within this zip code, you can get granular to say I want people that are married with children to see this,
Right.
and being able to actually drill down to the type of person that's going to walk through your door. You can actually go through and say, I want to spend $5 or $10 to put this post in front of folks like that. And that is all done in our platform. And then the best part is all of the reporting will be fed back into your dashboard for one place to be
Right.
able to see it all.
Wow, wow, wow. I like that you make it so easy and you also just explained it so perfectly. That's another thing that I think we preach to studio owners when it comes to advertising to your customer. You need to know who they are. And so
Hmm.
you need to be able to say, oh, that my ideal customer, has two kids and they live within a 30-mile radius or something like that. So it's really cool that you have the capabilities to talk to them like that and then have all that information on the constant contact dashboard, which I think then you could convert into a pretty cool email, like
Correct.
knowing who you're talking to. So, wow. I so you can do Facebook and Instagram within the Constant Contact platform.
LinkedIn as well. I don't think
Yeah,
it's super as relevant in this
yeah.
space, but yes, those are the two most popular for this instance. And the total three that we cover are
Mhm.
LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.
Well, and I think statistically, most of our customers are on Facebook right now, the demographic wise. So it makes sense. I mean, I think anything that you can the less places I have to go to do that sort of stuff, definitely the better. My question actually is about some of the numbers around it. Do you have any data on, um, does Facebook like it better if we go through them organically? Or is it basically the same, even if we're using your platform to kind of skip through? Because I know there was a point in time where Facebook would prioritize things
Like a
that
native
were
upload.
organically, yeah, uploaded from there. So can you speak to that, Bill?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have anything that definitively says one or the other. Though from my experience, I think if you are in the Meta platform or our platform or one of the other solutions out there that's focused specifically on social and don't get into email marketing and text and stuff, I believe if you're planning it out ahead of time, there's no difference. I
Mm-hmm.
suspect that if you happen to be like able to post at the most optimized time. So you find that your customers are on Facebook at 6:30 every night or mostly like on a Tuesday, and you have the ability to be there and do it from your phone from Facebook and do it that way. I believe that's probably a little bit of a advantage rather
Mm-hmm.
than scheduling it out. The problem is no one really operates that way.
Mm-mm.
So if
Right.
you're
Yeah, that's a
going to
huge
schedule,
hassle.
yeah, exactly. So most people are scheduling and they're finding out that their clients are on at a time that they're not even opened.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
to be able to schedule in itself, I don't believe from what I know that there's any difference as far as how you're doing that natively or in our platform or in some of our competitors. Having that ability to schedule is six and a half a dozen and equal in that perspective. The only
Mm.
thing that I personally believe is that if you're able to do it in the moment from your phone, there's probably an
Mm-hmm.
advantage. But what you lose there is the ability to, oh, I just posted that and I realized I spelled this wrong and I have to change it. So I always advise scheduling because it gives you that opt out, like, oh goodness, I needed to change that. So that in my personal opinion, I don't really post
Mm-hmm.
anything live for that reason. I'm like, I need the out if I can get it.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's
Listen, I posted voila one time, but I spelled it Viola, and my customers did not let me live
uh,
that down. And it was up for 35 seconds.
Yeah, oh yeah, it
So
doesn't
yeah,
take
I'm
long.
with you.
that's so funny.
So schedule everything, even
Well,
emails, same thing, Jess.
oh,
All
100%.
right, and Amy, I know you have something there, but even
I
for
well, I get
emails,
scared. I get scared when my email platform is like, "Are you sure you want to send this right now? Are you sure you want to send this to 2,000 people? I don't know. You can cancel it if you want." And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm scared."
Maybe I do need to stop.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm curious, and this is like not. This is just me asking. It is Constant Contact linking your like Meta business profile? Like, how are you able to run ads within Constant Contact?
so everything's done through API. So being able to connect on the back end, it really isn't any different than you going to the Meta platform
Mhm.
and putting a post and saying you want to boost it.
Yeah.
So within our platform, you're still able to go in, create the post as if you were creating it within um, any other place. You're creating the post, and now it's basically saying, I have this post that's going to go to Facebook or Instagram, and I want to boost that to an audience that falls under these categories. So it's basically that our platform and Meta has a way of speaking to each other that is way beyond
Mhm.
anyone in this room's
Yeah.
capabilities of thinking, but
Yeah, yeah.
they all
Very smart
communicate.
people put it
Yes,
together
Yes,
like that.
yes.
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's really cool.
You know,
I mean, we've said it over and
Hmm.
over again, but just this one-stop shop to get these really important things done. It's pretty nice. I don't think
Yeah.
Facebook gives you the opportunity to send an email at the same time, from the
no,
same
Mm-mm.
place. So I think if you're going to choose one, why not choose Constant Contact to be kind of like your home
Mhm.
base?
I
Well,
couldn't
and I
agree
think there's
more.
something to also say about emails being an archive within your emails. I mean, you can go back and look at all the emails that you got from a particular company and see what's going on. It can be harder to find that stuff in social media after some time has passed when you have more posts, sliding their way in. So I think too, you can create a little bit of a data timeline for your customers to go back and kind of see what's going on and find that information a lot easier than scrolling through your Facebook trying to find when is the next event, that's coming up.
That's a great point too. I think I almost use that more than actual email outside of my work life, at least. Like my personal email is always like, oh, I saw a coupon or I saw a deal or I saw
Mm-hmm.
like I just look back to. So it's a great catalog of information that's been sent to you for sure. The one thing I didn't cover is and this should likely be brief because it doesn't we don't get as detailed as you would if you just went direct. If you did have somebody that's like, wow, I'm using social, I'm starting to use ads, but I want to get into Google Ads and I want to start showing up outside of social media in its entirety, we
Mm.
also make that less scary for somebody who doesn't know anything about advertising. So you're able to create a Google Ads account within our platform. The material that you've created within our platform using the AI, using the library, using the photos you've uploaded, can all be utilized. And then you're able to select a demographic and someone that you're looking for the same way we talked about, but just having it go out on Google. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all. If it's something that you haven't utilized in the past and you're like, it's really intimidating for me to go figure that out on your own, we make
Mhm.
that process a lot easier that you can do within our platform.
That's really cool. And would you say a Google ad is like a little more pay to play? Like you're not necessarily dealing with like $5 to $10 like you would on Facebook.
So most of their promotions, for example, are in and around $250 spend on a
Mm.
monthly basis. So
Mm-hmm.
this would have to be like, I have the budget. I'm really looking to, advertise outside of social media, and I just want to try my hands at something new. I'm at capacity with what I feel
Yeah.
like I'm doing
Mm-hmm.
today. So yeah, I'd say if you're looking at, I want to spend 250 to $500 a month on advertising, but I want to do it outside of social, this would be a really good start. um, I haven't used it enough personally to know how effective or speak to like the numbers, but I do know that there are some owners out there that are just saying like, look, I've done social and I've done, and now I want to try one. I want to up the ante. This is a good way to
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Yeah, and I think with how do I want to say this? When you are dealing with maybe competition in your area, it is good to utilize a Google ad because it just helps you come
Mm-hmm.
up higher in the search, if I'm not
Hmm.
mistaken. It gives you a little bit more of a fighting chance when someone's searching, pottery painting in Chattanooga or family things to do in Atlanta, something like that. It gives you a little bit of a one up, if I'm not wrong,
Mm-hmm.
if I understand
You're
Google Ads.
spot on. And
Oh,
if you think about it, we all
perfect.
run into it. It's like I search for coffee in my area, and the Google ads are going to fight for whether it's a
Yes,
Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or your other
exactly.
local shop
Yeah.
getting there. So, and that's where that kind of like competition against other studios and stuff could potentially be one-upped with your organization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, Bill. I mean, the notes I have written out are
I know.
Yeah, look at that.
big. I know. Yeah, I'm feeling I feel a lot less intimidated by all of this stuff. And that's, you're so good at explaining things. So we really, for listeners, like, here's the one thing from what we talked about today: automations, AI, ads, social within Constant Contact. What's one thing that you want them to, we want them to do it all, but what's the one that you want them to start with?
Well, I want them to know that it's beyond just email. So the most important thing is that it's one place to go, but you have all of these solutions in one place. I think the biggest thing to take away would likely be SMS, because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of folks don't think of that as like oh, I want to text market somebody, I'm going to go to Constant Contact.
Right.
They think I'm going to go to Constant Contact for email. They should really start thinking, because we've become so prominent in this area. I think that that would be a really, really good approach
Yeah, very
to that.
true.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
as far as like signing up, we're going to make all of that super easy. It's one link within your platform. I believe it's something that either you share out regularly or it's available within your membership page. I forget where it lives within your platform. But if they click that link and sign up, everything's set up automatically. The discounts are applied, like it's super, super easy. After they sign up, if they want more help before actually committing to paying, they can have a conversation with our customer support representatives, and they'll talk through exactly what they're trying to do and help them, that through that next step. And then lastly, our support is everything you find online about us is we've taken that as our foundation.
Yeah.
So it's people that work for our company that, we don't outsource, that within, they're able to speak, they're very clear. You're not going to find yourself dealing with offshores, place where you're getting frustrated with a language barrier. Like these are all people
Mhm.
that like we make sure can help you through everything you need.
Yeah. I can say I've called in a frustrated, like I've been trying to figure this out for a while and I've gotten nothing but like really great help. So very well said. We just love Constant Contact around here. And I think, anytime you want to come back, we're happy to have you.
That
Yeah.
sounds
Anytime you
great.
want to pop in as the third host, we
Yeah,
are down.
I'll be reaching out for sure.
Perfect.
We got
All
to get
right.
him a t-shirt though.
I know, I know. And then we'll have a book club within CCSA to
Yeah.
now listen to the book whenever that comes out of beta testing.
Yes.
Yes, for sure.
Hey everyone, we hope you enjoyed the podcast. Don't forget to check out the resources area of the Biscuit Imports website. There's always new resources in the works here at BI. We hope you enjoy them.
Feel like a juggler at your ceramic studio? Between classes, bookings, and admin tasks, those pins keep flying. Let Occasion help you put down the act and get back to creating. Visit occasion.act to discover your peace of mind.
Are you ready to be inspired and take your studio to new heights? As a CCSA member, you'll have exclusive access to our annual convention, the must-attend event for Fired Art Studio owners. With expert speakers, hands-on workshops, and networking opportunities, the convention is where you'll learn the latest industry trends and gain insight to grow your business. Plus, you'll connect with suppliers showcasing the newest products. Don't miss out on the most exciting event of the year. Become a CCSA member today at ccsaonline.com and join us for the next convention.
Bill, tell our listeners where they can find you if they have any questions or, if they want to buy your book. Give us your info.
For sure. From a Constant Contact perspective, if you have any questions, bill.shipley@constantcontact.com. That's SHIPLEY. And if you're interested in the Manufacturing Artificial Intelligence Agency, which is my novel that I wrote and published mostly on my own, so an indie author with a little bit of support,
Amazing.
is what you'd say, then you can find me on Instagram. I write under WD Shipley.
Incredible.
Awesome.
Well, I'm so excited. Thank you, Bill. This was really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
Jess,
Bill. I learned so many
you're going to
things.
send an email, right, Jess, at the
I
end of
am.
the
I'm
day?
gonna.
Come
I
on,
am
Jess,
making a
you can
public
do it.
declaration that I will become better at email sending, specifically through Constant Contact. So y'all be on the lookout and get on my email list.
Hey, there you go.
Will do. Well, thanks as
everyone-
always for having me.
Yes, of course. And
yeah.
thanks for listening. And, we'll see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Glazed Over is brought to you by the CCSA, the Contemporary Ceramic Studios Association. Thank you to our moderators, Amy Williams and Jessica Cowan. Editing by Scott Lester. Executive production by Vicki DeWort. Learn more at ccsaonline.com.